Have you ever opened your refrigerator and thought that everything you stored inside was completely safe? In reality, some foods, when refrigerated, not only lose their nutritional value but also generate harmful substances for health. This is especially dangerous for people over 60, when the immune system, liver, and kidneys are no longer functioning as efficiently. An innocent-looking potato can turn its starch into a form that is hard to digest. A slice of cold bread can create toxic compounds when reheated, or a jar of honey stored in the fridge for too long may develop aflatoxin toxins that few people expect. These habits that seem good, if repeated daily, can unintentionally become a silent burden on the joints, blood vessels, and digestive system of older adults. In today's video, Health Journey will help you identify 7 familiar foods that should not be stored in the refrigerator, while also pointing out the correct storage methods to preserve enzymes, vitamins, and flavor. You will learn why ripe tomatoes lose their taste when refrigerated, bananas quickly turn black in the fridge, and avocados or garlic can easily produce harmful compounds if stored the wrong way. Beyond the warnings, I will also share simple, practical alternatives that you can apply right in your own kitchen, so that from now on, every meal will truly be healthy. So, before you continue with old habits, watch this video until the end, because just one small change in how you store food can help lighten the load on your liver and kidneys, reduce inflammation in your joints, and maintain better immunity. If you find this content useful, hit subscribe to Health Journey, share the video with your loved ones, and leave a comment about the food you most often refrigerate. Who knows? Your share might help someone else avoid unnecessary health risks. And now, let's begin exploring the first food on the list, the one I'm sure is present in many people's refrigerators. Potatoes are the very first food I want to mention on this list. Potatoes have long been a familiar dish in many American households, especially for older adults because they are easy to prepare and keep you full for a long time. However, one common habit, putting potatoes in the refrigerator, can turn this seemingly harmless food into a potential source of toxins. When stored at temperatures below 8 degrees C, the starch in potatoes gradually converts into simple sugars. This may not sound concerning, but the problem arises when potatoes are fried or baked at high heat. The sugars combine with the natural amino acids in potatoes to form acrylamide, a compound that the World Health Organization has warned has the potential to cause cancer. For younger people, the liver and kidneys are still strong enough to filter out part of this substance. But after the age of 60, detoxification functions have slowed down, so acrylamide can easily accumulate, fueling chronic inflammation and increasing the risk of kidney, esophageal, or endometrial cancer. Another important point to note is that potatoes stored too long in plastic bags or in damp, dark environments are likely to sprout and turn green. At this stage, potatoes develop solanine, a neurotoxin that can cause nausea, dizziness, and even irregular heartbeat. Many older adults unintentionally keep potatoes in the refrigerator for too long, then simply cut off the sprouts and cook them. But in fact, the toxin may have already spread inside. Therefore, the safest way to store potatoes is in a cool, dry, well-ventilated place at room temperature around 10-15 degrees C, and they should be consumed within a few weeks of purchase. When cooking, instead of deep frying until crispy, which generates large amounts of acrylamide, opt for healthier methods such as steaming, stewing, or light baking at 160-180 degrees C. If you still want to enjoy fried potatoes, you can blanch them in boiling water for a few minutes first, then fry quickly over medium heat. This way, you retain the flavor while significantly reducing the toxic compounds compared to direct high-heat frying. Especially, combining potatoes with antioxidant-rich vegetables like garlic, bell peppers, kale, or a few herbs will help neutralize free radicals and reduce the burden on the liver and kidneys. A portion of baked potatoes with minced garlic, olive oil, and a sprinkle of herbs is not only delicious, but also much friendlier to senior health. Potatoes are truly a valuable source of energy, providing plenty of potassium and vitamin B6, nutrients essential for older adults to maintain stable blood pressure and proper nervous system function. But only when stored and cooked correctly will that value be fully preserved. Remember, potatoes are not bad in themselves. It is improper storage and cooking that turn them into a toxic trap right in the kitchen. After mentioning potatoes, a familiar food that can become a silent betrayer if kept in the refrigerator, tomatoes are the next example that deserves special attention. Many elderly families in the U.S. often have the habit of buying tomatoes and immediately putting them into the fridge, thinking that this will keep them fresh longer. But the truth is completely the opposite. When stored below 10 degrees C, tomatoes suffer damage right at the cellular level. Cell membranes are broken, water leaks out, causing the fruit to become mushy and lose its firmness. That is why after just a few days in the fridge, tomatoes that were once juicy, sweet, and fragrant turn into something bland and watery, losing their characteristic flavor. It is not only about texture. The cooling process also drastically reduces the natural enzymes involved in ripening. This leads to a significant drop in lycopene, the powerful antioxidant found in tomatoes. Lycopene is well known for its ability to protect the cardiovascular system, slow down atherosclerosis, and has been highlighted in many studies on the prevention of prostate and stomach cancer. Yet after only 3 days in the refrigerator, tomatoes can lose up to 30–40% of their lycopene. For older adults who need natural nutrient-rich foods to fight cellular aging, this loss is truly regrettable. The eating experience is also heavily affected. Chilled tomatoes often completely lose their delicate aroma and the balance of sweet and sour flavors, making dishes taste bland. To make up for this, many people add extra sugar, salt, or even oils and fats, unintentionally increasing the burden on blood pressure, blood sugar, and blood lipids, issues that are already the familiar enemies of old age. In other words, a seemingly small habit like improper storage can directly impact the heart, liver, kidneys, and overall health. To fully preserve their benefits, the best way to store tomatoes is at room temperature, in a cool place away from direct sunlight. If the fruit is still green, place it near apples or bananas. They will help the tomatoes ripen evenly thanks to their natural ethylene gas. Once the skin has turned red and ripe, you may place them in the vegetable drawer of the refrigerator, but only for a maximum of 2–3 days and consume gradually. In particular, do not store tomatoes in sealed plastic bags, as the high humidity creates an environment favorable for mold growth. Another important note: do not eat tomatoes that are still green or have green patches on the skin, as they may contain solanine, a compound that can cause stomach pain, nausea, and even diarrhea. Older adults should prioritize naturally ripened tomatoes, which can be eaten fresh in salads, combined with a bit of cheese or olive oil to enhance lycopene absorption. If you prefer them cooked, stir-fry quickly or prepare light soups to retain vitamin C while also converting lycopene into a form more easily used by the body. Clearly, for older adults, each tomato is not just an ordinary vegetable, but a natural medicine that supports heart health and provides antioxidant protection. With proper storage and use, we can make the most of the values that nature has given us, instead of unintentionally turning them into low-quality food right in our own kitchens. After seeing how tomatoes lose nutrients and change flavor when exposed to cold, the next food that also causes no small amount of trouble is bread. This is a simple, familiar dish in almost every American household, but it is extremely sensitive if stored the wrong way. When bread is kept in the fridge or freezer for too long, the starch undergoes changes. The bond between starch and water is broken, causing the bread to dry out quickly, become hard, and lose its original softness and elasticity. Just compare a freshly baked, fragrant loaf with one kept in the fridge for a few days, and the difference is immediately noticeable. More dangerously, the fridge has high humidity, making it an ideal nest for mold growth. We cannot underestimate small mold spots on bread because some types of mold, such as aspergillus, can produce aflatoxin, a harmful toxin linked to liver cancer risk. For older adults, whose liver and kidneys are already weakened with poorer detoxification ability, accidentally eating even a small piece of moldy bread can have far more serious consequences than for younger people. The safest solution is to store bread at room temperature, in a breathable cloth bag or an airtight container, and consume it within 2 days. A cloth bag allows the bread to breathe and retain moderate moisture, while an airtight container must ensure no condensation forms inside. If you want to store bread longer, slice it, put it into a Ziploc bag or airtight container, and place it in the freezer. When needed, take only the slices you will use, thaw them at room temperature or in the fridge for about half an hour, then reheat in an oven at 160–170 degrees C for 3–5 minutes. This not only softens the bread again, but also helps convert starch into a resistant form, which benefits digestion. Avoid using a high-powered microwave, as it can make the bread soggy, less crispy, and spoil faster. Interestingly, when reheated properly, bread not only tastes better but also produces resistant starch, a special type of fiber that goes straight to the colon, feeds beneficial bacteria, and helps stabilize blood sugar. For people over 60, this is a valuable benefit, turning bread into a healthy energy source instead of just a fast-acting starch that spikes blood sugar. To make the meal more balanced, bread should be eaten with protein or healthy fats. A slice of whole grain bread spread with almond butter and a few banana slices, or a sandwich with boiled egg and low-sodium cheese, will extend digestion time, prevent sudden blood sugar spikes, and keep you feeling full longer. On the contrary, refined white bread, bread kept in the fridge too long, or bread with a musty smell should never be eaten. Just smelling something unusual or spotting a small patch of mold means it should be discarded immediately to protect your health. Simply put, the secret to keeping bread both delicious and safe is this: eat it within 2 days if stored outside the fridge, or slice and freeze it, then reheat when needed. When paired correctly with protein and healthy fats, this familiar food becomes an ideal choice for breakfast or snacks, tasty, digestion-friendly, and blood sugar-friendly. If bread can lose its taste and harbor mold when stored incorrectly, then avocado, the fruit known as the green heart, can also easily become a disappointment if refrigerated before it has a chance to ripen. Many older adults in the US often have the habit of buying avocados while they are still unripe and immediately putting them into the fridge, but this stops the natural ripening process. Instead of a soft peel and creamy flesh, the avocado turns into a tough-skinned fruit with fibrous, rubbery flesh that loses its signature buttery richness. When properly ripened, avocado is an excellent source of lutein, phytosterols, vitamin E, and especially oleic acid, a healthy fat that helps lower bad cholesterol, strengthens heart health, and supports brain function. But if stored at low temperatures too early, these nutrients are easily destroyed. Vitamin E breaks down. Lutein and phytosterols lose their antioxidant effect, and oleic acid changes, leaving avocado stripped of its valuable benefits for the eyes, memory, and blood vessels. The best way to store avocados is to leave them at room temperature, in a cool, ventilated spot away from direct sunlight. Green avocados usually need 5–7 days to ripen, but if you want to speed it up, simply place them next to apples or bananas, whose natural ethylene gas will shorten the process to 2–3 days. Absolutely do not put green avocados in the fridge, as it will ruin their texture. Once avocados are ripe and soft, they can be kept in the fridge for about 2 days. A small tip is to add a few drops of lemon juice on the flesh before sealing it tightly to slow down browning. If you want longer storage, you can mash the flesh, mix in some lemon juice, and freeze it when needed. Just throw it in the fridge for a few hours before use. As for how to enjoy them, ripe avocados can be eaten plain, mashed and spread on whole grain bread, used as a filling for boiled egg sandwiches, or tossed into quinoa salads. Older adults can also make a refreshing salad with avocado, tomatoes, lettuce, and a splash of apple cider vinegar, light on the stomach, yet rich in fiber, vitamins, and healthy fats without causing rapid blood sugar spikes. In addition, avocado can replace heavy cream in salad dressings. Just blend it with unsweetened yogurt, lemon juice, and a little pepper to create a smooth, lower saturated fat dressing. Although nutritious, avocado also comes with important precautions. Do not eat overripe avocados with wrinkled skin, darkened flesh, and a bitter or slimy taste. Those with acid reflux or irritable bowel syndrome should limit intake, as the fat content may cause bloating and heartburn. For patients with heart failure or edema, the high potassium content in avocado, 350 mg/100 g, must be carefully considered, since the daily recommended total intake is usually only around 502,000 mg. A ripe, creamy avocado can be a true tonic for the heart and brain, but only when stored and consumed correctly. In the list of foods that are easily stored incorrectly, bananas are certainly a name that cannot be overlooked. This tropical fruit is familiar, delicious, and nutritious, but simply placing it in the refrigerator almost completely destroys its value. At low temperatures, the peel quickly turns black while the flesh inside becomes mushy, losing its natural sweet flavor. If the banana is still green, the ripening process is halted, leaving the outside yellow but the inside still green and sour, making it less tasty and harder to digest. Another overlooked risk is that the glycemic index of bananas changes depending on ripeness. Moderately ripe bananas have a GI of about 50-55, relatively safe, but when overripe with many brown spots, the GI can rise to 70-75. For older adults, eating overripe bananas means blood sugar rises rapidly, easily causing fatigue, sluggishness, or even trembling in the hands and legs. Moreover, refrigeration reduces tryptophan and vitamin B6, two nutrients essential for producing serotonin and melatonin. These substances stabilize the nervous system and support sleep, so improperly stored bananas essentially turn into a source of empty sugar, stripped of their original benefits. To keep bananas fresh and maximize their benefits, store them at room temperature in a dry place away from direct sunlight. A small tip is to wrap the stems with plastic wrap to reduce ethylene gas, slowing ripening by 2-3 days. Once bananas are fully yellow, they should only be kept in the fridge for a maximum of 24 hours. If left longer, the flesh becomes mushy and loses quality. If many bananas ripen at once, slice or split them, place in sealed bags and freeze. Frozen bananas, once thawed, will have a creamy texture, perfect for smoothies or banana bread, while retaining much of their sweetness and nutrients. The ideal time to eat bananas is when the peel is bright yellow with just a few small brown spots. At this stage, starch has converted into easily absorbed sugars, yet vitamins and minerals remain intact. Older adults should avoid eating bananas on an empty stomach, especially in the morning, as blood sugar may rise and then drop quickly, causing fatigue. Instead, eat them 1-2 hours after a main meal or 30-60 minutes before bedtime, both to aid relaxation and to support deeper sleep. A small tip to limit blood sugar spikes is to pair bananas with protein or healthy fats. For example, half a ripe banana with a slice of whole grain bread spread with almond butter, or bananas mixed with low-sugar Greek yogurt and chia seeds. This combination slows carbohydrate absorption, prolongs satiety, and reduces stress on the pancreas. Although nutritious, bananas also require caution for people with end-stage kidney disease who must control potassium intake. In such cases, only half a banana per serving and at most twice a day should be consumed, while accounting for potassium from vegetables and other foods so as not to exceed 2,000 mg/day. Conversely, for those taking diuretics, bananas are a useful source of potassium, but still need to be monitored regularly under a doctor's guidance. When stored and consumed correctly, bananas are not only a tasty fruit, but also a companion that helps stabilize blood sugar, improve sleep, and nourish the nervous system for a peaceful old age. In the family kitchen, there are things that may seem small but actually determine the quality of meals and health, and garlic is a typical example. This spice, known as the anti-inflammatory miracle, contains allicin, a powerful compound that is only activated when garlic is crushed or minced. Allicin provides antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, and antioxidant effects, thereby supporting cardiovascular health, preventing infections, and boosting the body's immune system. However, if stored improperly, all these benefits can be lost, and garlic may even turn into a potential toxin. When garlic is kept in the refrigerator or freezer, the bulbs often sprout early. The green shoots contain indigestible compounds that cause bloating, while the alliinase enzyme is inhibited, meaning allicin is almost not formed. In other words, garlic stored cold for too long not only loses its anti-inflammatory properties, but also easily causes digestive discomfort, especially in older adults. More dangerously, many people have the habit of soaking garlic in oil for convenience, but if done at room temperature, the anaerobic environment allows Clostridium botulinum bacteria to grow. Botulinum toxin is extremely potent. Even a very small amount can cause muscle paralysis, difficulty breathing, and even death if not treated promptly. To preserve its benefits, garlic should be kept whole in a dry, well-ventilated place, away from direct sunlight and not at too low a temperature. If you want to mince it in advance, a safe method is to put it into an ice cube tray with a little water or olive oil and freeze it immediately. When needed for cooking, simply take out 1 cube and thaw it quickly within a few minutes. This way, garlic retains its flavor and remains convenient without losing its active properties. A small tip when preparing garlic is to let it rest for about 10 minutes after mincing before adding it to the pan. This time is enough for the alliinase enzyme to work, converting alliin into allicin. If you put it straight into hot oil, the high temperature will destroy the enzyme, resulting in very little allicin being produced. When cooking, keep the heat moderate and stop sautéing as soon as the garlic edges turn slightly golden, avoiding burning since allicin loses its effect at temperatures above 160 degrees C. If you want to make pickled garlic, choose to soak it in vinegar or light salt water, then store it in the refrigerator and consume within 7–10 days. The acidic environment will inhibit dangerous bacteria, making it much safer than soaking garlic in oil at room temperature. In the diet of older adults, just 1–2 small cloves of garlic per day are enough to provide a rich flavor and the necessary amount of allicin. Stir-fried with green vegetables, cooked in chicken soup, or combined with fish, garlic not only enhances taste but also helps reduce inflammation, support blood circulation, and improve digestion. However, intake should not exceed 4 g of fresh garlic per day to avoid stomach irritation, especially for those with ulcers or acid reflux. When it comes to familiar foods that can easily lose their value if stored incorrectly, the last name to keep in mind is honey, the liquid gold that many people regard as a natural medicine. Pure honey is smooth, mildly sweet, and rich in enzymes such as glucose oxidase and diastase, along with many anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, and antioxidant compounds. However, if kept in the refrigerator below 10 degrees C, honey will begin to crystallize. Glucose separates into tiny granules, causing the honey to solidify and clump. Many people mistakenly think the honey has spoiled and then heat it to boiling or microwave it, unintentionally destroying all the valuable enzymes and vitamins inside. What is even more dangerous is that when overheated beyond 40 degrees C, enzymes such as glucose oxidase, diastase, and catalase almost completely lose their activity. Among them, glucose oxidase plays a role in producing hydrogen peroxide, a natural antibacterial agent. Diastase helps digest sugars, and catalase neutralizes free radicals. When these enzymes are destroyed, honey becomes nothing more than a mixture of water and sugar, losing its health protective benefits. More seriously, the heating process can generate hydroxymethylfurfuryl (HMF), a compound that, when consumed long-term at high doses, may be harmful. To preserve honey's full value, store it in a clean glass jar with a tight lid in a dry place away from direct sunlight and avoid excessive cold. If honey crystallizes instead of boiling, simply place the jar in warm water at about 40 degrees C, not exceeding 45 degrees C. This moderate temperature will allow the crystals to dissolve slowly without destroying the enzymes. Once the honey returns to liquid form, let it cool. Seal it tightly and store it at room temperature between 18 and 22 degrees C for best results. For older adults, the recommended intake is only about 1–2 teaspoons per day. Honey provides natural sugar, soothes coughs, improves digestion, and enhances taste. But if used as a daily sugar substitute, it increases calories, promotes fat accumulation, and raises the risk of insulin resistance. People with blood sugar disorders need to be especially careful. Counting the sugar from honey together with sugar in fruits and other foods to avoid exceeding 25 g of added sugar per day. Some safe ways for older adults to consume honey include mixing it with warm water to drink in the morning, stirring it into oatmeal for easier digestion and longer satiety, or combining it with unsweetened yogurt for a probiotic-rich snack. Another popular choice is mixing honey with warm lemon water, which is good for digestion and helps prevent kidney stones. But honey should only be added once the water has cooled below 40 degrees C. When purchasing, always choose pure honey without added sugar or syrup. Honey from free-range or wildflower bees typically contains higher levels of enzymes and antioxidants than industrial honey. In this way, honey truly becomes liquid gold in the proper sense, both delicious and nourishing for the health of older adults. Continuing from what has been shared, Let's look at the real-life story of Mr. Richard Holloway, 72 years old, living in Springfield, Illinois. He originally only had slightly high blood pressure, with overall stable health, but because he lived alone, he often cooked for himself and maintained incorrect food storage habits. Raw potatoes were kept in the refrigerator and then fried until crispy minced garlic was soaked in oil for later use. Bread and tomatoes were placed in the fridge, while honey was stored in the refrigerator to avoid ants. These seemingly convenient practices gradually turned into a health trap. After some time, Mr. Richard began to feel chronically fatigued, bloated after meals, with indigestion and sluggishness. A medical checkup revealed slightly elevated liver enzymes and signs of kidney strain. When he was hospitalized due to a digestive disorder, doctors discovered the cause: acrylamide formed from cold-stored potatoes fried at high heat, botulinum toxin from garlic soaked in oil, HMF compounds from overheated honey, and resistant starch not activated due to eating cold bread. All of these combined to damage his liver, kidneys, and digestive system. Following this incident, he joined the Cooking Smart After 60 program organized by the state government. There, he learned simple but effective principles. Potatoes should be stored in a dry place outside the refrigerator. Garlic should be used fresh or minced and frozen instead of soaked in oil. Bread should be sliced, frozen, and reheated before eating. Tomatoes should ripen naturally at room temperature, and honey should simply be kept in a glass jar at room temperature. He also received personalized nutritional counseling to change his entire kitchen routine. After just half a year of applying these changes, test results showed that his liver and kidney function had returned to normal. The uncomfortable symptoms disappeared, his weight became more stable, and his sleep improved. Mr. Richard admitted, "I used to think that just eating in moderation was enough, but it was the way I stored food that was silently harming my health. Now I believe that health begins in the kitchen, with the refrigerator in every home." His story is clear evidence that if food is stored and prepared correctly, even the most ordinary foods can become medicine for old age. The takeaway from Mr. Richard's story is also a reminder for all of us. Health is not only determined in hospitals or clinics, but it begins with the small daily habits in our own kitchens. A potato, a slice of bread, a banana, or even a spoonful of honey, if stored and used correctly, can become a natural medicine that helps the body stay strong and prevent disease. But just a single mistake can turn them into a burden on the liver, kidneys, and immune system, which are already weaker as we age. Remember, adjusting food storage is not complicated. Just a few small changes: keeping potatoes outside the refrigerator, letting tomatoes ripen naturally, using fresh garlic instead of soaking it in oil, reheating bread after freezing, or avoiding overheating honey, are enough to preserve nutrients and prevent harmful toxins. These are the most practical and accessible actions that anyone can start from today to support their own health and that of their family. If you find these insights useful, don't forget to hit subscribe to continue with us in upcoming videos, where we will share even more valuable knowledge about nutrition and healthy living for older age. Please share this video with your friends and loved ones, especially those over 60, so we can together build a community that lives healthier, happier, and longer each day. Thank you sincerely for your support and for watching.